Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Welcome back to another off the cuff chat with me, FPL Mez, and it's been a bit of it's been a while actually. So I think it's been a couple of weeks since I actually did a stream. But it's been a while since I've done a Spaces stream and a YouTube stream. So the Spaces streaming directly to YouTube is backed by popular demand. I had a few people reach out to ask if I was going to do a Spaces one because they love listening to Spaces and I thought I'd pick up Spaces again, and it's been a while. So a couple of like life updates, and as you know, these are very much off the cuff chats. I haven't really prepared that much at all today. Going to be doing a bit of a review and also talking about my free hit draft for game week 34. But life updates wise, it's been a busy couple of weeks. It's just been insane. I think it's just that time of the year where I'm planning a holiday. So I'm going to Japan in a couple of weeks' time. I'll be there for 2 weeks, and then I'm heading over to the UK for about a month. And so that just means that work has exploded. So I'm trying to like squeeze in a million meetings and just getting a whole bunch of things done with a couple of clients that I'm working with. So it's just been absolutely insane. So I haven't been able to give FPL as much attention as I hoped that I would be able to. But I've been playing in the background. I've been even playing FPL Challenge, not overthinking things, but just giving it a go and just having fun with it in the background. But it's been a busy couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to going on holiday, just having a break, having some of that downtime. I've pretty much booked or looked into what I want to do in Japan, but I'm open to tips and suggestions. And I think I put it out there on X maybe about a month ago or so to ask for suggestions, and they were all very useful and handy. So thank you so much to everyone who gave me some tips and suggestions about where to go, what to see, where to stay, and which cities to try and travel to while I'm in Japan for 2 weeks. Really appreciate it. There's a lot of planning that's gone into it. But I'm very much looking forward to just taking a break and being in the UK. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up with a bunch of you in the UK as well. I'm looking forward to, just again, spending time with family, chilling out. Those that don't know, I'm from the UK. I've been in Australia for about 10 years now. So my parents, family, siblings, they're all in the UK in London. And so, I'll be spending most of my time over there. I've got a wedding to attend and a hen party, and my sister's having a baby, and so there's a lot going on. So I'm really excited about being in the UK during that time. So so at the moment, my mindset is pretty much how many more weeks do we have until the season's over? I'm ready for the season to be over. Having a holiday to Japan. Actually, I was chatting to someone in Japan who I might do he's an FPL manager, and so I might do a stream while I'm out in Japan and with this person. I won't say who until I've got a confirmation, but I might be able to do a stream while I'm out there as well, because obviously there'll be a couple of game weeks to go while I'm in Japan. So hopefully I can coincide it with my trip in Tokyo and catch up with a friend over there as well. So shout out to everyone that's listening on Spaces. Thank you so much for being there on Spaces. Really appreciate it. I haven't done Spaces for a long time, so appreciate you being there. I have got the Spaces sort of box up on my YouTube channel as well, so on stream. Any reactions and all of that will turn up on the stream as well. And a shout out to everyone that's in the chat on YouTube as well. Great to see you, Chatbox. Ryan, so Ryan's got a stream coming up after my stream as well. So if you're around and you haven't caught Ryan's content, fabulous FPL manager over here in Australia. So please do check out his channel as well. Mohan, great to see you. It has been a long time. It's been a while, but great to see you. Great to have you here. And PSB, great, great chatting to you in the background as well. Thanks for all the tips and suggestions as well. Great to have you on as well. So really appreciate it. All right, well, let's jump straight into my review. So what I'm going to do today is talk through my game week 33. And it was a really great game week for me, so I'm really pleased with the outcome. And I might actually go through a couple of previous game weeks as well, because it has been a while, and it would be good to just kind of talk through some of the I guess like the moments that led to a couple of of the transfers that I made, but also, how I'm tracking in general, because these are, and if you're joining for the first time, these are very much a video diary, Spaces diary of my journey so far this season. So I started doing my off the cuff chats back in August at the start of the season. And it's been great. And, I've been, the number of followers, especially, or subscribers on YouTube has increased as well. So I really do appreciate it. Please do like and subscribe as well. I'm very close to 500 subscribers on YouTube. So it'll be wonderful to actually meet that target by the end of the season. I don't have like high expectations about that, and I'm not one to kind of really push that as well. But if you like the content, please do like and subscribe. All right, so my game week, what I'll do is, for the sake of Spaces as well, actually I won't post my game week 33 results, or like the points and what I had. Feel free to have a look at my profile. I think I pinned it to my profile, so you can have a look at it over there, but I will share like any other screenshots that I can, so things like my draft and stuff like that. So yeah, you can have a look at that over there. But for those that are watching on YouTube, I got 100 points. So it was nice to get a ton and make it to, I think it was my first 100 points this season as well. So really pleased with that. It's been a tough season. So those that have been following my journey this season, I've not had a great season. I didn't have a great start to the season, and I had been sort of toing and froing between. Actually, I'll jump straight there first, just while I'm on the topic. But if I show you, so just at the start of the season, for those that are watching on YouTube, I started somewhere around 800, 900k, and then I dropped down to 2 mil. And then I think the lowest rank I had was around 4.3 mil, which is mad, because it's my second season and I had a great season last season, and so you go in with this like expectations of I'm going to be able to have another good season. And my first season wasn't like, I didn't really have anything to compare with, but I didn't think it was that bad either. So so I've been sort of in that 2 to 4 mil mark for quite a while. And as I'm sort of scrolling up, I think it was around game week 22, maybe 21, 22 or so, where I was still around that 1 mil mark, and I found it very difficult to make progress and just gain any momentum and gain any rank as well. It was just really challenging. So I think it's been a bit of a challenge in general, and the picks that I've been making, it's been, it has been hard as well. Like, so to make gains with the picks that I haven't necessarily been focusing on anything in particular, just trying to make good choices, picking the players that I think are going to get the most points. And so, with that comes a lot of pressure to try and pick a couple of differential picks as well, but they've just not really gone my way. And so it was probably around, if I look at the last sort of 10 game weeks or so, so from about game week 23, 24-ish, I think that's when I started to make a little bit more progress. And if I think back to that moment, I think it was a bit more of a, you know what, fuck this. I need to just play the game my way. So I reduced the amount of content I was consuming. I was talking to, chatting to fewer people, the group chats that I was in, all of that. I just reduced all of that, just reduced the noise basically. And started looking at the like a little bit less on the stat side as well. So, I love data, but I started to just reduce the amount of data I was concentrating on as well. It's a really good way of doing a bit of a heat map. So I was using things like review for a bit of a heat map around, okay, well, these players have got the highest sort of points, incoming, like expected wise. So I decided, I'm not going to overthink this and just go with my gut feel. And you can see here, like if you're watching on YouTube, you can see here I went from something like 727k and incrementally reduced that to about 255k is where I'm sitting at the moment. And that's over the space of about 8 game weeks, 9 game weeks or so. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm really pleased with the progress that I've been able to make. And Ryan's just said that's around the time we were talking about let's focus on our mini leagues. That's exactly it. So I was going to get to that as well, that I've been probably over the last sort of 5 to 8 game weeks or so, I've been focusing entirely on my mini leagues. I've just kind of switched off from, I don't care what rank I'm on. I don't really care where this sort of ends up this season. But I want to focus on the mini leagues. That's how and when I started playing. So I wanted to just hone in on that a little bit more. And I did a stream with Ryan and Damon over here in Australia, where we won our sort of respective mini leagues, and we did a really good stream around. And maybe Ryan can sort of post that in the on Twitter or something like that, because it was a really good way to sort of reflect back to last season and talk about how we focused on our mini leagues entirely. And I was like borderline stalking some of my mini league players, FPL managers who are around me, and looking at their game weeks and trying to understand and preempt what sort of moves that they would be making, what sort of team members, team players and stuff that they would be doing with their team, how they would be tinkering. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Last season. And so this season, I decided to have a look at my mini leagues and just focus in on that and and go from there, which has worked really well for me. So I'm really glad that I did that. It's nice to just switch off the noise, and it's really good. So Ray just said, like a scoundrel, my season is so bad that I'm focusing on my biscuit win. Yeah. So when Ray says biscuit, you can take a wild guess what that means. So going back to my game week 33, there was a couple of blanks in my team, and I might sort of just, chat about those really quickly. So Neto got 0 points. So for those that are listening, I've got Neto in goal. He got 0 points. I had Gabriel in defense. He got 0 points as well. Regulon and Guardiol are probably my, saviors in defense. But the other blankers, before I jump to, how well the other players played, were Saka. Like Saka, just I don't know what's going on there, but he hasn't been looking great, but he still keeps getting returns, and there's an occasional pen as well. So I almost feel like Saka is a defensive sort of pick that's worth having in the team. Son was a bit of a disappointment with a blank as well. So yeah, and I don't know how much I want to rant about Liverpool and Salah, but Salah's just not looking good at the moment. Liverpool defensively are not looking great as a team. I don't know what's going on. Like the fact that we're not finishing off the chances is really disappointing. That match against Atalanta was just awful. It's just been back to back. I mean, even the draw against United, it's just not like us. And so I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I really hope they get their shit together. Obviously, the match is the next Atalanta fixture is tonight for those that are in the UK, and early hours of actually no. What am I saying? It's Wednesday today. Gosh, that's disappointing. Still got Thursday and Friday to go. So the Atalanta game is on Thursday night for those in the UK, but Friday morning for us over here in Australia, which is very disappointing because I feel like I've got to work a whole extra day that I didn't even think of. But there you go. So going back to my saviours, so Regulon, fantastic. Guardiol was a great transfer in for me. I'm really glad that I went there. And really good timing. PSP with your comment. Guardiol, a legend, the sheer rollercoaster of emotions from a City clean sheet wipeout to getting a double-digit return, insane. Absolutely, it was one of those, like, I was picking a City defender when I was trying to pick my 2 free transfers, and which, mind you, was quite a difficult pick in itself. So when I was looking at my team, I was struggling to decide which 2 free transfers to make, and I thought maybe I was the only one who was in that predicament, but it seems like there was a lot of people who were also in the same boat where they were struggling to make their transfers. So in the end, I decided who's got the easiest fixture, who's playing well, and who could potentially get a clean sheet. And I think from a clean sheet odds point of view, City was right up there. So I decided to pick a City defender. Which City defender was always going to be a pot luck kind of draw thing. But I was feeling good about Guardiola because of his, I don't know, thunderblast bastard of a goal that he did against Real Madrid. And just given that he was on form as well, it just made sense to consider him. I don't know what that means for future game weeks. I know Ake is going to be back soon as well. So actually, I say soon. I'm not exactly sure how soon, but yeah. So I went with Guardiola purely from an attacking sort of return potential point of view and a bonus clean sheet if they could keep a clean sheet, but they didn't. And so yes, it was a bit of a roller coaster, unfortunately. But you know, like the other players that the other player that I brought in this game week was Gordon, and so I took Bailey out, which is really funny because Bailey actually returned this game week as well. But I took Bailey out and brought in Gordon, and that was mostly because you know Newcastle are just phenomenal at home. You know they're scoring goals. The combination between Isak and Gordon as well. Isak I brought in a couple of game weeks ago. Just seemed like a really good combination to have. And of course, you know, Newcastle have got a double coming up later on as well. So I'm on the chip strategy of playing free hit 34. And I'll be on bench boost 37. And I keep sort of going to FPL team and tinkering away and just kind of having a look at, is there an alternative? Is it worth sort of playing my bench boost slightly early? I'm not crazy about leaving my bench boost until game week 37. But yeah, I'm willing to sort of, you know, wait it out and try and sort of make that happen. And given the top three at the moment in the league, it's looking pretty tight. And I think it's going to be tight right up until the end because, you know, Arsenal and Liverpool are going to be playing their fixtures ahead of City. So City's going to have this constant sort of pressure on them to try and win their match as well. So yeah, so long as Liverpool, I mean, I don't care about Arsenal so much. Sorry, Arsenal supporters. But as long as Liverpool don't drop another game, I think there is a chance that City could drop a game. And so I don't know. It's high hopes, but crazier things have happened. I mean, there was three fixtures on the weekend where they lost their home matches. So yeah, there you go. And they were all, I would say, expected to win their home matches, right? So yeah, it's an interesting one. So I reckon there's a chance there, but going back to Salah has been very disappointing. I'm not too sure how I feel about Salah going into game week 34 because he's a strong captaincy pick going into game week 34, but I'll get to that in a moment. Palmer, let's have a chat about Palmer. Incredible, just incredible scenes. I couldn't believe, you know, like I think I woke up and missed half or majority of the match and caught the scoreline and was just very confused what was going on because it was Chelsea and scoring 6 goals and Everton have been defensively pretty decent, so I wasn't expecting that outcome. So which is kind of annoying because Palmer was giving me minus points. So those that went Palmer captaincy, good on you, you know, incredible. And I think there was like 4,000 managers or something like that triple captained. Or maybe not 4,000, maybe it was less than that, but around that, you know, sort of 4 something, whether it's 400 or 4,000. I imagine it was 4,000, that triple captain Palmer, like that's incredible as well. I was actually chatting to Ellie Helenek in the background and ahead of like the deadline and you know, we were just making our transfers and she was like, yeah, I've got a good feeling about Palmer captaincy, so I'm just going to go with Palmer captaincy. And I was like, you know what, do it. She's a massive Chelsea supporter, so I was like, yeah, go for it. That sounds it sounds like a good shout. And you know, I was previously on Salah and then switched over to Haaland, and you know, it was a little bit to do with the leaks and, you know, potential sort of leaks and things like that was coming out, but I wasn't looking at it too much. And of course, there was a lot of FOMO around those that caught the leaks and wanted to bring in Foden, brought in Foden got benched, and, you know, all of that sort of jazz that happened. Yeah, it was mad. And if anything, it's kind of taught us to be a little bit more skeptical about the leaks that are coming out. So I'm not sure how you guys feel about the leaks. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it. It'll be good to get your perspective on, did you bring in any of the players based on the leaks? Like, did you bring in Foden? And how do you feel about sort of leaks going forward as well? I've definitely been sort of avoiding them in the past. They have been useful. I think it's one of those things where it's information, right? It's data. It's a data point, and you use that data point to make a decision. And so for me personally, it was a good useful bit of data to have, and then I can assess the risk based on my risk appetite, whether I want to take a hit, bring a player in based on any leaks or inside information or whatever that's available, which is a little bit unfair, but it's one of those things where it's out there. If it hits your radar, if you actively look for it, then you need to do something about it. And so the last couple of times that that's happened, I have to admit I've ignored bringing players in, but I have made decisions like captaincy picks and so forth around any leaks that have come out. But yeah, let me know what you think if you made a decision based on the leaks. So Danish, you're saying that you captained Haaland because of the leaks instead of Salah, so it worked out for me. Yeah, I did the same thing. I think knowing that there was, they played Real Madrid, and then they, had Luton. They've got Real Madrid again, tomorrow, or tonight for those that are watching in the UK. Yeah, I was skeptical about captaining Haaland, but then I switched over, and I'm glad I did because, yeah, I mean, obviously that's hindsight bias there, but yeah, I'm glad I did switch over. So yeah, I think like on the bench, did have a bit of like to and fro around do I start Gusto or not, and I think that there was some rumors going around about Gabriel being benched. But I wanted to have, I don't have double Arsenal defence, so I was a little bit worried about not having double Arsenal defence and what that would mean. And so I decided to play Gabriel ahead of, whatever rumours were going around, whether he was going to start or not, or he wasn't in training. I'm not exactly sure why he wasn't in training, but decided to just go ahead and play him. But I was a little bit apprehensive about, benching Gusto. Not because, I don't know if I was expecting a clean sheet out of it, but definitely from an attacking return sort of side of things. I played, I had Reguilon in my team, and so, yeah, I mean, he got 8 points as well, so really pleased with that. So given I had like 5 blankers and 6 points sitting on the bench, and Muniz got 2 points, but I'm really pleased that I made it to 100 points this game week. So yeah, which was a massive boost for me because I was previously, I don't know. Let me just see if I can find I think this version. So the live FPL version of it. I think I was on. Yeah, that's right. I was on 422k previously, and I had almost a 40% jump to 255k, and probably the highest game week rank I've had as well. So my game week rank was like 218k. So I feel like I'm at that point in the season now where I am chasing the upside, and I'm looking at, okay, well, there's only a few more game weeks to go. What moves can I make to win or get as close to the top of my mini leagues to stay in the Australian Elite League, which I was sort of very lucky to be part of last season. Yeah, how do I sort of maintain my position in that mini league and win my family mini league, which is the whole reason why I started playing FPL as well. So yeah, really good place to be. And you can see there that Gordon gave me a plus almost sort of 15 points worth, and Solanke was probably the killer for me this game week, unfortunately. Yeah, like I say, overall, really happy with where things sort of landed, some of the decision making around that. And yeah, like you say, Ryan, it was around the time when we decided let's focus on our mini leagues, and that's what I plan to do for the remainder of the season, is just focus on the mini leagues and see where everyone's at. I am stalking my mini leagues, and I'll give you an example. Like, so I've been sort of looking at, like, if I show you the Australian Elite mini league, and shout out to the community over here in Australia, just fantastic bunch of people. No biscuits on the line, Ray. No biscuits on the line. It's not really my jam. So yeah, yeah, I'm not playing for biscuits, but I do like chocolate biscuits, but I'm now gluten intolerant, so I'm really struggling with that. So if you have any suggestions about gluten-free biscuits, give me a shout as well. But if I look at my one of my mini leagues, which is the Australian Elite Mini League, I am starting to look at like the players around me, and so Peterson, who does the FPL SideNet podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts as well. I am watching you. We are sitting on 1982 points there. So it's it's going to be fun, I think, like just kind of staying in this league, because I think you've got to be in the top sort of 20 for this particular league. But yeah, it's looking really tight. Like it's, pretty sandwiched. So what I'm looking at now is who doesn't have their free hit. And because I do. And so I'm really looking forward to making a free hit draft and working out, what that looks like, and see if I can get ahead a little bit more of my mini leagues. And I know in my family mini league, no one's got their free hit draft left. Free hit chip left, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And I've already sort of made it to the top of that, but there's fine margins there as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Um, yeah, that's right, Pete. Got to be careful. You as well, Ryan. You're not that far ahead of me. So it's going to be fun going into the last couple of game weeks of the season. So just looking at transfer plans and planning sort of side of things. So I have been tinkering away, looking at my free hit draft, and so I haven't really decided where I'm going with my free hit draft, but I will share a draft that I'm working on at the moment. But if we just take a look at the fixtures really quickly, so I'm just looking at Lego Mane's hop on, hop off fixture sort of chart ticker sort of thing. I think with the doubles, so we've got Arsenal obviously doubling, we've got Liverpool doubling, we've got Crystal Palace doubling, Wolves, Everton, and and Sheffield, and so it's a really interesting double game week 34, and from a free hit point of view, I have noticed that there are some trends already, like with the free hit drafts that we're seeing, and so. I only really started playing around with my free hit draft today, bit of yesterday, and I've just been chatting to a few people about free hit, and started noticing more and more of the free hit drafts, on my X timeline as well. So I'm just going to share through YouTube just a couple of those free hit drafts. So FPL Matt here, and you can see there some of the common free hit combinations. So what we're seeing a lot of is triple Arsenal, triple Liverpool, and triple Crystal Palace. I think they're probably the obvious ones, and I think it's going to come down to the combination that you have your triple Arsenal, triple Liverpool, triple Palace. And this particular draft has got Pickford in goal, which is an interesting sort of selection there in goal, because I've not seen a lot of Pickford in goal drafts, but this particular draft has double Liverpool defence, which I was really surprised about, because we've been so bad defensively, but I guess it's for the attacking returns. But given that they're both away fixtures as well, not sure about that, but I have been contemplating Trent in my draft as well. But I think given that I've got an opportunity to get a bit of an edge, but also I'm not going to have many single game week players in my free hit draft as well, I'm starting to think maybe I do need to avoid any players that may play less than 90 minutes as well. Shout out to everyone in the chat again, really appreciate you being there. Hey Calvin, hey Shamil. Great to have you in the chat. So in the midfield, again, I think the usual suspects have been there as well. Players like Saka is in pretty much every draft that I've seen, and Salah has been in every draft that I've seen as well. Similar to the front line as well. So Cunha, Mateta, interestingly, Solanke on the bench in this particular draft. But yeah, again, it's been fairly common across the board. But if I show you, if I just kind of go through the next one here, so FPL boys, these guys are having a really good run of sort of, captaincy picks and they put out some really good threads as well. But again, I think the difference between this draft and the previous one, they've got Darwin up front there, which is a brave pick, and we've often sort of talked about Darwin being the Powerball lottery pick. You've got to be in it to win it type of mentality. So you've got to buy the lottery ticket and hope that Darwin gets a return, and because he just goes nuts, right? But I have to admit, he's just, I don't know. It's is it worth it? Is that spot sort of worth it? I feel like every position going into a double game week, especially if you're on a free hit, is prime real estate. So I reckon I wouldn't be keen personally to bring in Darwin there. I think Brereton Diaz is an interesting pick that I'm seeing turning up in a lot of drafts as well. So that was probably the different one, different pick there. Henderson in goal. Eight Nori. I'm not sure what the deal is with Eight Nori at the moment. Like, he is injured. So yeah, I'm not sure. If you guys know in the chat, let me know. Yeah, and great to have you here, Tien. I think it was Tien who mentioned Darwin being a bit of a Powerball, sort of pick, and so yeah, excellent timing. I feel like there's been a couple of good timings with people entering the chat while I'm talking about something in particular that's been related. The next free hit draft that I looked at, lovely to see Diogo Jota in there. Love Jota, great pick. Minutes wise, not too sure. I feel like Klopp is probably going to be preferring his front line being Salah, Diaz, and Darwin. And of course, Jota will get minutes. He's a great player. He's very clinical in comparison to Darwin, especially. So I can see him getting minutes, but I just don't see it being sort of consistent. So it's a bit of a risk, I would say. So I think, like, from a Liverpool sort of picks point of view, I think we've just got to bear in mind, actually, while we're talking about Liverpool, I'm just going to get up on the screen just their Liverpool's fixtures that are coming up. They've got a bit of congestion that coming up at the moment. So they've got Atalanta this week, and then they've got Fulham, which is about 3 and a bit days later. Excuse the timings that you see on the screen for the matches. That's the time the matches that are going to be on over here in Sydney, which I know sucks to be us over here, but I don't mind the 5 a.m. ones. And yeah, really do appreciate that there is a Saturday 27th fixture at 9:30 p.m. So those that are in Sydney, maybe we do an FPL meets and try and catch that match. Just putting it out there, maybe we do that. But as you can see, there's about 2 to 3 days between each of those fixtures, and they're all away fixtures. So that's a lot of moving around. That is a lot of congestion, not enough time for recovery. We're already feeling a little bit, looks like we're looking pretty tired at the moment as well. So just something to bear in mind, I guess, when you're picking your double game week players from Liverpool. So going back to some of the drafts that we were looking at there. Yeah, so I would be thinking, I'm not sure if I want to go Jota and Trent, who are probably going to get fewer minutes. So I think that combination, not too sure about that. I love that they've got Munoz in their defensive line there. He's getting in the box and around the box a fair bit as well, and yeah, I really do like that pick instead of having Henderson in goal. Like, just from an attacking returns point of view, I think it's a really good shout. So yeah, have to have a think about that. Couple more, just really quickly. Again, sort of seeing Trent and Robertson there in goal. In defence, and Henderson in goal. Gabriel being the consistent, game week 34 Arsenal defender. But you can see there in the mid as well. So I think Havertz being the slightly differential sort of pick there in comparison to some of the other drafts that we've looked at as well. And Cunha getting a start ahead of Mateta in this particular one as well. So yeah, really interesting. FPL GOAT. Nothing too different there. So again, you can see that, okay, in this time round, they've got Jose Sarr in goal there, which I don't mind actually, but I think it's just that Arsenal fixture that, we know that, yeah, can't see any clean sheets there, but save points and bonus points, yeah, pretty high, I reckon. And yeah, last one over here from FPL Gundo. Again, very sort of templatey, as you can see. So I thought, you know what, to help me make decisions, let me make a chart. So I pulled together the popular picks, and I will post this actually. Let me see if I can grab this image for myself and post it to you guys, those that are listening on Spaces as well. So you've got that there to have a look at the same time. So let me just grab that. Maybe I can just copy it. Yeah, it looks like that will work. Will that work? Oh, bloody hell. That's not going to work. Let me save this. Yeah, just 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right, I've just posted that, so hopefully you guys can see that, those that are listening on Spaces as well. So these are the popular free hit 34 picks that were coming up, and what I've done is just bolded out the ones that I feel are probably going to be a bit more nailed in my free hit draft. If you are listening and not looking at the chart, I'll quickly read them out as well. So the most popular GK, so goalkeeper picks that I've seen, and no sort of priority of rank or anything like that, no priority of order or anything like that. But the most popular picks that I've seen with the free hit drafts that I've been eyeing up this past week or so have been Raya, Allison, Henderson, Pickford, and Jose Sarr. In the defensive sort of picks point of view, the double Arsenal defence was a very popular sort of combination. So what I'd seen coming up was Gabriel, White and Saliba combination constantly sort of appearing. Van Dijk was a very popular pick across a lot of free hit drafts. Munoz, again, a popular pick. Trent Robbo combination, not necessarily both, although some of the drafts that I just shared very quickly, you can see that there's a Trent Robbo combination there as well, as in both in the draft. I'm not sure if I personally would want that. But Tarkowski was up there as well. So I've just gone and picked sort of 5 slots there and just grouped like the Arsenal defenders there in sort of one block. But in the midfield's been pretty consistent across the board. At least the picks that I've the drafts that I've seen and the picks that everyone's making. So you got Salah in most of them. Saka, Eze, and Diaz has been a really popular pick. So those 4 slots have probably been fairly consistent across the board. And then I've seen a combination of either Havertz or Brereton Diaz, Elise, and Sarabia sort of turning up on drafts as well. So I think that's going to be the differential sort of 5th pick. And it really depends on your formation as well. So formation wise, I think it's going to come down to what you think is best. So, I'm personally thinking 3-5-2. But I am eyeing up 3-4-3 as well as a combination, depending on which picks I go with. So from a forward lineup point of view, so Solanke, Mateta, Cunha, Darwin, and McBurney have probably been the most popular picks that I've seen turn up on free hit drafts as well. I think for me personally, I'm going to probably have Solanke and Mateta. And Cunha is currently I'm eyeing up as well. Darwin, I'm not going to socialize that too much. McBurney, I'm not too sure if he's nailed or not, but probably going to end up on my bench if I do bring in McBurney. But I'd love to have a decent cover if I go 3-4-3. It would be good to have a decent forward option there as well. There you have it. These have been the most popular picks this past sort of week or so that I've been looking at free hit drafts and sort of collecting them and just grabbing a bit of getting an overall sort of view of which picks have been sort of popular. And like I say, they're not in any particular order. These have definitely been the most popular picks that I've seen so far. So from a draft point of view, so Adarsh, you're saying that my voice sounds low. I don't know. Let me know if that is a problem. I'll see if I can do something about that. But seems to be looking fine on my end at the moment. So if I go to FPL team, so those that are watching on YouTube, let me see if I can quickly again post this on Spaces as well. So for those that are listening on Spaces, thank you for being there on Spaces. Really appreciate you being there. I have got the feed up on my YouTube channel as well. So any reactions or any sort of messages and so forth, I'll try and sort of keep track of those and share those as well through YouTube. So I will just quickly share my current free hit draft thinking and talk through that. I'm nowhere near sort of finalizing my free hit draft at the moment. I'm just tinkering away. As I mentioned, I've only really been looking at free hit sort of over the last sort of day or so. But I think more than anything, I've just been stalking everyone just to kind of work out what is the best sort of combination to have for free hit. So let me just. Wow, none of the pasting is working for some reason on my phone, and I wonder why that is. It's really weird. There you go. Learning new things. And I noticed like Spaces changed as well. Like it's been a while since I've done Spaces, and then I noticed like, yeah, a few things have changed on it, and I was like, no, don't make me learn it all over again. All right, so I've just posted my free hit draft on Spaces as well for you guys that are listening. Please do like and subscribe. Like I mentioned earlier, these are very off the cuff chat, very sort of chilled out conversations, and very much a diary, I guess, of everything that I'm doing this season. And it's been great to have some guests on board as well. I've had some, wonderful guests coming on, and hopefully we'll have some more guests coming on for the remainder few game weeks that we've got as well. And maybe even, as I mentioned earlier, a stream from Japan as well. So I've got a friend over there in Tokyo that is an FPL manager as well. So yeah, hopefully I can do one from over there as well. So if I talk through my current free hit draft, so I've currently put Raya in goal. And I've got Gabriel in defence and Munoz and Robertson, and mostly Robertson because he looked really good against Palace, despite sort of he seemed like the most interested player that we had on the pitch on against Palace, which is a real shame. And I just noticed Diane is in the chat. Sorry, not in the chat, on Spaces as well. Who's a huge Palace fan. Great to have you, Diane, and well done on the win. Huge win for you, and yeah, really, really good. But yeah, I think like Robertson looks really good against Palace. So yeah, I think it's going to come down to the European fixtures. I think for both Arsenal and Liverpool, how well they play in Europe over the next 2 days. That's going to determine which picks and the combinations that I go for. And as mentioned, it seems like the most popular picks have been triple Arsenal, triple Liverpool, and triple Palace, and it's really going to come down to the combination. And so, as part of my draft, I'm thinking about the obvious sort of defensive picks to make, and so going back to this combination, the chart where I've highlighted a couple of players. I think if you're not on a free hit, you're likely to have Salah, you're likely to have Saka, you're probably going to bring in an Eze. Seems like a really popular pick. You may have Solanke. You probably have double, Arsenal defense as well. So when I'm looking at my free hit draft, I'm thinking about what are my defensive picks that I'm going to need to have, and to try and sort of cover that off as much as possible in my draft as well, so that I don't sort of get a plummeting of my rank and sort of game week in general by not having any single game week players as well. Actually, those that are free hitting in the chat or on YouTube as well, if you're listening, who are you bringing in? Are you keeping or bringing in any single game week players? So you can see on my bench in my free hit draft at the moment, I've got Bruno Fernandes, or Fernandes, I think is how Fran says his name. Great to have you there on Spaces as well, Fran. So I've currently got him on the bench, but I'm not decided about that. I feel like there's a bit of a bias towards, if you're free hitting and it's a double game week, you bring in double game week players. But I also don't want to be sort of in a position where I'm kind of like not looking at the opportunity of bringing in a single game week player. So obviously Foden and Haaland are going to be very popular picks on free hit drafts as well. But well, actually, no, not free hit drafts, but those that are not free hitting. So are they options for you as well? Those that are free hitting, are you thinking about single game week players? I'm really interested in knowing. I've then gone with Saka, Diaz, Eze, and Salah. Just obvious picks. The combination that most will probably have on their free hit draft if they're playing 3-4-3, and captaincy at the moment is on Salah. I'm not 100% convinced about my captaincy pick at the moment, but I'm still contemplating it. With my forward lineup, I've gone Cunha, Solanke, and Mateta. Look, Mateta's been fantastic, actually, and you could see that he's getting the maximum amount of minutes as well, even in comparison to like Edouard. So, yeah, that's interesting to see. So, yeah, I feel like I'm going to probably play Mateta. He's pretty much fixed in my forward line for my free hit draft as well. Solanke just keeps returning, and so last couple of game weeks not having him in my side has been a little bit painful because as I sort of went through my game week 33 review, you can see that it is oh gosh, yeah, so my voice is coming up very low. Let me see if I can, is that a little bit better? Like if I've just kind of increased it on this side, so let me know if that is better or not. Which is a real bummer because it's like 47 minutes in. So, yeah, you've either got your volume low or I've got it pretty low on my end. So apologies for that. Yeah, so Solanke has been returning and it's been really great to see him return as well, but it's been hurting me a fair bit as well. And so this time round as well, in game week 33, he was the killer for me this game week. And if it's not Solanke, it's Watkins. So I'm a bit like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to bring Watkins back. I don't plan to bring Watkins back. So yeah, not much I can do there. But for my free hit, I feel like Villa and Wolves away, despite being away fixtures, they're a really good fixture to have Solanke in the side. And so, and a bit of a defensive pick as well for those that are not on free hit, probably have Solanke in the team. And with this particular draft, I am playing 3-4-3, so I've got Cunha starting as well. He's just been on really good form, and so I would prefer to have him start. But my fifth midfielder will probably determine whether I go 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. So yeah, that's where my free hit draft is at the moment. I haven't really thought too hard about my benched sort of players. Obviously, Bruno's the only player where I'm like, oh, maybe not, not sure. It's Sheffield at home, and he's been getting returns as well, and so yeah, I may go for a single game week player. Will I bench Bruno? I'm not sure. I haven't really decided. So yeah, let's see how it goes. But yeah, that's what it's looking like at the moment from a free hit point of view. Like I mentioned, yeah, fantastic game week for me. Getting 100 points. Really happy with that. Yeah, it's been a really good last sort of couple of game weeks have been pretty good. Yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment. I'm probably let me just go back over here. Was there anything else over here? Nope, that's pretty much it. And yeah, so that's what my free hit draft looks like. I'm probably going to do one more stream if I can, maybe on Friday. It just so happens that my workload just calmed the hell down since last sort of Friday, and so I've had a bit more time to just focus on planning Japan and my UK trip that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and just start sort of tinkering around a little bit more as well, and just work backwards. Start stalking everyone's teams that are around me on my in my mini leagues. And it just means that I've got a little bit more time to try and squeeze in a few more sort of streams and spaces, and bring on a couple of guests as well. So yeah, I might try and squeeze one in on Friday evening as well. So that's so that's pretty much it. I also wanted to give a couple of shout outs out. So I received a lovely gift from FPL Amateurs of Australia podcast. So Quinton and Damon, who do their podcast, just a fantastic podcast. Really loves, the content creators that we've got over here in Australia. Just a really lovely bunch of people, great community as well. But they sent this hat, which is great, and they are a huge. So the organization or the charity that they support is the Cerebral Palsy charity over here, and just really nice hat. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And in about 8 minutes or so, 9 minutes or so, FPL Chatbox Ryan is about to do a stream as well. So please do check out his channel. And also his stream that's coming up fairly soon as well. So yeah, another great FPL manager over here in Australia, and love sort of doing streams with these guys and just catching up with them on a regular basis as well. So yeah, look, that's pretty much it. That's my free hit draft at the moment. That's how it's looking. Might squeeze in another stream on Friday. Let's see how it goes. But thank you so much for tuning in. I always try and sort of keep these as quick as possible, but it's been pretty it's been pretty hard keeping them down. It's funny how much you can ramble when you're chatting on your own as well. So appreciate you guys being there and just following along as well. So yeah, really appreciate the support. Please do like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I am trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this season. There's not that long to go. And I think I'm about 45 or so subscribers out, something like that. So yeah, please do consider subscribing, and please do like the stream if you enjoyed the stream as well. And thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate you being here. Catch you hopefully on Friday. And yeah, take it easy. And if I don't catch you, green arrows to you guys, and enjoy the next game week as well. Take it easy. Thanks again. See ya. Bye.